Claudia Catiti. Music in Florence. Copyright Ellie. Hi everybody. Our names are Irene and Camilla. We were born on the same day and we're almost 12 years old. In this photo, we're sitting on our lovely sofa where we love chatting and watching films. That's me, Irene, on the left and Camilla on the right. Can you tell who's who? Not everybody can. We live in Florence. In Florence, there are beautiful buildings, churches and works of art. They're famous all over the world and many artists from the 1400s and 1500s worked here. For example, Michelangelo, Brunelleschi and Raphael. Many famous poets and writers were also born here, like Dante Alighieri and Boccaccio. Here are some important places in our city. This river goes through Florence. On the 4th of November, 1966, there was too much water in the river and it covered the streets of the city, entering buildings and houses. Many works of art got wet and the water even came into our grandma's house. You can see this dome on the top of the cathedral in Florence. Filippo Brunelleschi drew and built it between 1420 and 1436. At that time, it was the biggest and highest dome in the world. Here we are in front of Brunelleschi's statue. He's looking at his dome. It's called Old Bridge because it's the oldest bridge in Florence. There are lots of jewelry shops on the bridge now, but in the past, there were shops that sold meat. They were on the bridge because when the butchers, people who sell meat, were cutting the meat, they threw all the bits they didn't want into the river below instead of onto the streets. In this way, the city streets didn't get dirty. The Pitti Palace was the home of a rich merchant, a person who buys and sells things, from Florence. After he died, a rich and very important family called Medici bought the palace and made the beautiful Boboli Gardens. These wonderful gardens with their statues and fountains were so beautiful that many kings in Europe wanted gardens like them too. This is one of the most beautiful and famous statues in the world. Michelangelo made this perfect statue when he was only 26 years old. It's made out of one very big piece of marble. Can you see the statue? It's the statue of Dante Alighieri in Piazza Santa Croce. Dante was a very important poet and he wrote the Divina Commedia. He's the father of the Italian language, and in the Commedia there are lots of words that we still use in Italian now. We start our day at 7 o'clock with a yummy breakfast. A cup of milk, some biscuits and bread with jam or chocolate. A sweet breakfast. Mum gives us fruit as well. After breakfast, we go to school. We get our school bags ready the night before so we don't forget anything. We get our clothes ready for the morning too, because we don't wear a uniform at school. We go to Scuola Media. Instead, our brother Samuele goes to nursery school, and he has to wear a special jacket over his clothes called a grembiule. The centre of Florence is very old and the streets are not wide. They are really narrow, so it's nice for walking or riding a bike. Our dad, for example, rides his bike to work. We walk to school because we live near it. This is our school. It's the Scuola Media Niccolò Machiavelli. It's a very old school and there are lots of students. In every year, there are 6 different classes with more than 20 students each. We're in one of the two classes that study music. We go to school from Monday to Friday, from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Then, 2 afternoons a week, we stay at school to study piano and orchestra. These are our favourite lessons. Playing with the others is really cool. We go home for lunch at 2 p.m. We live in San Frediano, a historical part of Florence. We usually have pasta for lunch, like spaghetti with tomatoes and cheese. Yummy! Sometimes we stay at school and have lunch with our classmates. We do our homework in our rooms in the afternoon. We always have a lot of homework and usually have to study until dinner time. We also have to study piano and it's a problem. There are 2 of us and only 1 piano. Usually it's okay, but sometimes before a concert we get mad with each other. Our school is famous for its music students. We often do concerts and before them we practice a lot. Our teacher, Mrs. Giannetti, helps us a lot. She's great. We have to work hard, but she's always kind to us. This is me, Camilla, playing during a school concert. Playing in front of all those people is always a bit scary. I felt really afraid. Do you know what happened a few days ago? We had a concert and the usual things. We were really afraid, we couldn't eat, and we hoped our clothes were tidy enough. We always go to school 2 hours before the concert to practice. So, we get to school, but there's nobody there. Then the man who looks after the school sees us and says, "Hi, Mrs. Giannetti said you have to go to the Santissima Annunziata church. They've moved the concert there because..." We start to run. There's no time to lose. Piazza Santissima Annunziata is after the Ponte Vecchio. It's 30 minutes on foot. We know the way well because our dad works at the Antico Ospedale degli Innocenti. The Spedale is another building by Filippo Brunelleschi. In the past, it was a hospital for children without a family. Today, it's a famous museum, and it also has schools for children and teenagers. We run and arrive at the Pitti Palace. Ponte Vecchio is near. There it is, but oh no, it's full of tourists. We can't move. Then, phew, Anna arrives, our mother's friend, and she can see we're worried. We explain the problem, and Anna says, "Don't worry, come with me." We run back to the Pitti Palace, and Anna pays for tickets for the Vasari corridor. What a great idea! This was a secret passageway built by the Medici family. It's high above the Ponte Vecchio and goes from the Pitti Palace to Palazzo della Signoria in Piazza della Signoria. Today, the Vasari corridor is a museum. We arrive at Palazzo Vecchio in Piazza della Signoria. Then, we run to the cathedral and along Via de' Servi. We can already see the famous entrance of the church, the Santissima Annunziata, where we have to play. We arrive at the church. Oh no! We're a real mess, very untidy. Our clothes are dirty and our hair is everywhere. And we're tired after running all the way. The stage in front of the church is ready, but we're lucky. The people who are going to watch the concert haven't arrived yet. We look at each other. Shall we go back home? asks Irene. Too late. Mrs. Giannetti sees us and calls us over. We go over to her. Irene asks, Mrs. Giannetti, why didn't you tell us the concert was here? Our teacher answers, because it's a surprise for you. It's a special concert. It's important. You're really good, but you always worry too much. In this concert, there'll be you two and also some very important pianists. Good luck, girls. We look at each other. She's right. We always worry too much. Then our teacher says, but why did you run? Have a rest now. The concert starts in an hour. An hour later, a bit afraid, we go onto the stage. The people clap. It's time to play and we're the youngest. Wow! Among the people watching us, we can see our mum, dad, Samuele, and all our classmates. They smile at us, and the music starts.